您正在收看的是凤凰卫视中文台。
Good evening and welcome to The Pulse. Later in tonight's show, we all know Chief Executive Donald Tsang's running for a new term of office, so why doesn't he come out and say so? And we talked to two journalists from Britain's The Guardian newspaper about news reporting in the age of the internet. But first, the controversy over the Broadcasting Authority's ruling on an RTHK programme about gay marriage and discrimination against homosexuals. It's led to questions from some social organisations and commentators about the role and representativeness of the authority itself.
我哋抗議廣管局奇形怪例打壓同志空間。我哋熱烈希望廣管局撤回對港台因為鏗鏘集同志戀人節目嘅強烈勸喻嘅事件嘅，因為收到今次嘅事件嘅之後咧，其實我哋好多身邊嘅朋友家人咧對我哋都十分之擔心嘅。
On Tuesday, 3 individuals featured in RTHK's documentary led a protest against the Broadcasting Authority ruling. After the program was aired in July, the government received 22 complaints about it. The broadcasting watchdog Teller ruled them unsubstantiated, but one member of the public appealed against the judgment. Of 5 complaints made by that individual, the authority rejected 3 and upheld 2. That the program presented only a pro-gay stance and that it was broadcast at a time when children could be watching.
There's never been psychological theories to say that children, because of influence from a certain pro-homosexuality culture or from parental influence on the homosexuality, then they become homosexual. There's never been such type of theory. It's just a folk theory that's propagated by the sexually ignorant, as I said.
做訪問期間，亦都同導演同埋佢哋嘅攝製嘅朋友都三番四次咧強調，我哋好希望我哋出到嚟係我哋真實嘅狀況，而我哋睇翻將支鏗鏘集出到嚟嗰個嘅效果，而我哋覺得對我哋家3位受訪者都十分之尊重，係真係呈現到我哋真實嘅事情出嚟。但係然後結果就得到一啲朋友，佢哋覺得呢啲真實嘅狀況係唔應該俾社會上任何一個年齡嘅人去了解。
RTHK expressed disappointment over the ruling. The Secretary for Commerce, Industry and Technology arranged a meeting with the station's head. That also proved controversial.
There's absolutely no question about interfering with the programming policy of RTHK. My concern over this incident is simply because when I read the statement issued RTHK over BA's decision in respect of a particular television program, the statement did not mention that RTHK will comply with the codes of practice issued by the Broadcasting Authority and will take into account BA's decision in this particular case in its future programming work.
Reflect the realities in the society. And this, of course, includes reflecting the realities and viewpoints of minority groups in the community. RTHK will continue to hold this mission as something really important.
They want to make a point that, hey, you guys, you behave within the guidance, quote unquote. Now, it seems to me if it is only a single program, the approach, the way it is produced, I think we have to argue for RTHK that editorial independence is very important. The right to design a program, the independence to create is very important. Otherwise, if you set up all kinds of restrictions or guidelines, you are actually killing creativity.
Some have expressed support for the BA's ruling. Others have said that the labeling of the episode as unsuitable for family viewing hours has set back civic education in the community. Since the controversy surfaced, cable TV has been accused of exercising self-censorship in dropping a plan to interview a gay man in an educational program. The accusation was denied by the station.
呢個所謂持平係一個虛假嘅持平嚟嘅。我哋試諗一諗，就係我哋個傳媒體入邊，無論電視或者電影，我哋都係以異性戀為主流嘅。當我哋點解即係當同志或者同志家人要講自己嘅聲音嘅時候，係需要有另一把聲音將佢所謂持平咧，或者所謂平衡咧，我哋覺得咧呢個係唔合理嘅。放喺大社會入邊咧，我哋覺得即係媒體係有責任咧，將一啲被邊緣嘅聲音講出嚟嘅。
Well, with me in the studio is Sid Ho of the Human Rights Monitor. Some of those most critical of that programme criticised it for being one-sided, so we made sure to invite Teller, the Broadcasting Authority and the Society for Truth and Light to send a representative. They declined. But Sid Ho, so you're here. And
yes, one-sided.
Sorry about that, but let me ask you, obviously there is concern about the handling of homosexual issues on television. And elsewhere in the media. I mean, how do you think that should be addressed, these concerns?
Well, there are more than one angles to this issue. First of all, it is discrimination against the gay and lesbian community. Well, a program telling their grievances would receive complaint from 22 citizens. And then at the end of the day, the Broadcasting Authority would accept this complaint and issue a warning to RTHK. So comes a second tier of the issue. The Broadcasting Authority is someone regulates the media. However, apparently, they did not realize that one of the media's responsibility is to give voice to the voiceless. So here comes with us this program about the grievances of the gay community. And yet, Broadcasting Authority would not want the voiceless to speak out their grievances and ask RTHK to take more care in future production of similar program.
Sorry, I was just to interrupt you, but I suppose the issue is that some people find homosexuality offensive. They're very worried about its portrayal in the media. So is there a way of accommodating that concern, even though it's like other concerns may be a minority one?
Well, I could appreciate that some people hold very strong objection to homosexuality due to personal beliefs or religious belief that we have to respect. However, we have to ask them also to respect the freedom of expression of the other sector of the community, no matter how minor they are. And especially when they are the underprivileged, the media needs to give them more attention so that the majority of the community would know about all this unfair situation for these minorities.
Do you think, in fact, though, that attitudes in the Hong Kong community are changing on this issue?
Well, yes. Actually, the University did 2 surveys in the past decades. Well, back in the 90s, when they conduct a survey, the people sympathize with homosexuality amount only to 50% or less. But then in early 2003, the Poly University conduct another survey. There are more than 65% of the respondents agree that the gay and lesbian community should be treated equally as the heterosexuality member.
There is also this issue which particularly the Society for Truth and Light seems to be concerned about, which is that, you know, young people are very vulnerable to impressions, and maybe if you're going to discuss issues like this, you really shouldn't discuss them during prime TV time.
Well, we have to go back to the education curriculum for the secondary school. Actually, it was stated that the student of the junior form, that is at the age of 11 or 12 or 13, should be taught about different sexual orientation, that is hetero and homosexuality included. We cannot bar out part of the fact of life simply because we don't like it.
Well, Sid Ho, thank you very much. We'll be back after the break.